Hi folks, hope you're doing well. This video is based upon something I saw the other day. It's a video where a lady was talking about her experiences, where she'd been in a hotel in Africa, one of the African nations. Can't remember. But this is about 2019, and there was an attack on the hotel by NAIROBI insurgents, and it started with one of them blowing himself up outside the hotel, and then another 4 coming in, not just hotel but the complexes around, shooting up and chucking incendiary devices at cars and grenades at cars to make the big bang to try and scare people and confuse people and cause that ultimate panic. One of the men in the complex found his friend. His friend was in the area to train special forces from that country. He was an SAS operator. So this friend phoned his friend, the SAS man, and said, "Can you help?" The SAS man dropped what he was doing, went to the boot of his car, got all the kit out, drove to the complex, and got out in probably a third of the gear that he would be using really if he was on a proper mission. Went in there, got most of the people out. Kept on going back in, eventually killed 2 of the terrorists, and did this all on his own. Then a year or so later, the young lady who was telling her story when she was in there, she was in the hotel room. In that hotel, she met with the man, and she said, why did you risk everything and do that?" And he looked very confused. She said, "It's who I am. It's my nature. It's what I was trained to do." So, in extreme circumstances, you're going to react according to your nature. Luckily, in that one, they had someone locally at hand who could come, who was trained to deal with that sort of thing. Highly trained, extremely highly trained, to stay calm in the most frightening of circumstances. We, who are the children of God, are going to be in circumstances that are going to be frightening at times. And how we respond is going to be according to our nature. But how we respond is going to be how people see God. So, for example, I took the chef Paul to the meeting last night. He couldn't get, and he probably never will be able to get, why I have such frustrations with regards to the church. This issue will explain it in one easy, very, very easy point. Is that I said recently that we had this prayer meeting, and about society, local society, etc. And what we got is some of these usual, blockbuster Hollywood, loud charismatic prayers that are going to do no good. That shows a nature. It shows a nature. It shows the understanding of the individual, and it's concerning. It's concerning because if a non-Christian sees that, they're going to see this person is insane. What this person is praying, it ain't going to happen because it ain't happening. Because if that prayer was going to be answered, we'd be feeling so many things going on around us right now. It would be insane. We'd be thinking there's a bloody earthquake and there's all these other things happening. And nothing. One of the things about Yeshua that made his ministry so incredibly successful was that people are still praising him now, was his nature. When people looked at him, they saw the Father's love. They saw the Father's nature in play. They occasionally saw a bit of righteous anger, but generally speaking, what they saw was his nature. They saw the nature of Father. They saw that compassion, that kindness, that grace, that mercy. They saw all of that. The way he was with his disciples, I mean... Yeah, you've been with him. You've seen him feed the 4,000 with 2 loaves and 3 fish. I'm not being literal. I'm just pulling numbers at me. Right, okay, I'm not going to read the scripture because you know what the scripture says. If you know, so there you go. But they see him do that. They see him feed the other load with the other amount of fish and bread. And then they come across another load of people. Well, how do we feed these people? And of course he's saying, excuse me, have you not seen? Did you not bloody see? Previously, what on earth are you saying? How do we feed these people? He sort of says that, but he says that with a lot more love. Because he's showing the patience of Father. He's shown incredible patience with his children, because we see in Scripture, we see the apostles doing what we do. When we look at Scripture, we can read the Scripture. We can read that Scripture 10 times, and then on the 11th time, suddenly, bing, it comes out and we understand it. And we're thinking, how did I not understand that before? And we imagine that God's looking down and saying, how did you not understand it the first time? But that isn't it. God's looking down with a smile saying, you weren't meant to understand it until now. But we feel like them. Yeah. And part of the reason why they did what they did and why they were asking stupid questions is because God wanted us to see that they were just like us. Because, if they were spot on all the time, and we're looking at that, we're thinking, how the bloody hell do we live up to that? But what we see, like we see Peter denying the Lord 3 times, okay. Peter became a great man of God, but became a great man of God. He wasn't that immediately. So, okay. That's something we can sort of get up to, isn't it? That's the standard, isn't, okay. But Peter was moulded according to the nature of Father. He started off because the actually, I think it was last night and this morning in the one by Neil Garrison Grayson. Yeah, his name's there somewhere. I linked the video to the one last night, so yeah, go watch that. Watch the video. Yeah, but in that one he talks about Peter and the sheep coming down. Yeah, because and he says Peter was a Jew previously, and it wasn't appropriate for him to, have someone who was a Gentile come into his home. Anything like that. But that's the point. Peter was a Jew. He was being changed from being a Jew to being of Christ or of Father. It doesn't matter what we were. We need to be changed to be of Father or of Abba in order to deal with the things that we're going to have to deal with. Because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming at us that we need to learn to focus on Father and learn how to do that, so that when things start to kick off, we can be at peace and we can look completely at rest while everything around us is going crazy. That's showing his nature. That's showing the spiritual SAS nature. So when a prayer time comes and you're praying about the area, you know that God has this all under control. All of it. He knows what's going on. It's not as if God doesn't know. He knows exactly what. You don't need to shout to get his attention. I don't think that's what the lady was doing, but yeah. 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 The point of it is that if you have his nature, you reflect his nature. When things start to get a bit tough. And you reflect his nature when they don't. Yeah, the SAS man. The lady who told the story, she said that he was incredibly humble. So it blew her mind. That with all that he did, he was incredibly humble. He didn't see it as anything special. It was his job. Yeah. That's why I said the other day, the whole point of being above other people is that you can lift them up. So you can get them to a higher place. It's not about pointing down at other people. It's not about saying, I'm higher than you. That is how it is in the world. But again, God knows those sort of people who are going to react in that way, and he's not going to put them in a higher position, is he? He won't put them in a higher position. The world will, but God won't. I spoke many times about Manuel, the leader of the other church, or previous leader of the other church I was in. I knew that he wasn't appointed by God to those positions, because he was completely in control of that church, really with no accountability, and that's not God. When I was speaking to Paul on the way back, on the way back, I said that the worship in the other church was slightly better because they have a drummer. And he said, yeah, but Jeff's a drummer. But he doesn't do the drumming because he's also the pastor. He can't do both. He can't do both. Someone should have told Manuel. Manuel was a worship leader. He was a pastor. He was a teacher. He was the administrator. My God, man. It was obvious it wasn't God doing it. But when you see Jeff and when you see the amount that's on him, yeah, it's obvious. Now, could he do the drumming? Yes, he could do the drumming because that's not worship leading. There's another worship leader. He's just assisting the worship team while the person who's learning to do that is learning to do it. Cool. So he could do it. But, that means that can he worship? No, because if he's doing that, he can't really worship. So, yeah, I get it. Absolutely. And I would support him completely if he says, him saying he doesn't want to do that. Because if we need to have our time of worship, so does the pastor. And the pastor needs that time of worship where he's just free to worship in whatever way he is going to worship. But the point of it is can you see people that are not of his nature? Yes. So therefore, you'll be able to see people that are. Especially the way that they react to situations. You will see that when things are tough, how do they deal with situations? I'm not there yet. No. One thing I do know is when I do get there, I won't be doing a lot of things I do now. No. Because I know that my mind will be elsewhere. And so, I won't be driving, I won't be doing any of that sort of stuff at all. Because, so, that'd be interesting, Well, because I keep saying if we want radical change, then we have to radically change. So it's like, okay. Then let's work out what that means and how to do that. But certainly being of his nature, If you want to do things according to his will and his ways, then that's the only way. You take care, God bless, I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.